All right, in this video, we're going to talk about the terminology of the different types of angles associated with unit circle. This unit can get pretty complicated pretty quickly, but as long as you understand kind of each step in the process, it's not too bad. So first off, the variable used to represent angle measures is theta. And that should be recognized from your days in geometry, but that's the variable we'll use instead of our standard variable of x. A full circle is, of course, 360 degrees, while a half circle would be 180. This means each quadrant in a coordinate plane would be 1/4 of the circle and represent 90 degrees. And just remember, I don't have this anywhere, but we have a 4-quadrant system that we're going to see a lot of, and it goes counterclockwise. So quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4. Each one of those quadrants represents 90 degrees of the full circle. An angle has two parts. It has the beginning side, which we call the initial side, and the ending side, which we call the terminal side. An angle in standard form has an initial side that is always the positive x-axis. So let's see what that looks like. So if we are going to sketch an angle in the coordinate plane, it's always going to start on the positive x-axis side, meaning this will represent the initial side of an angle. And we'll talk about rotations here in just a second, but let's rotate counterclockwise and just stop randomly in the second quadrant. And wherever we stop, that of course is the ending side of the angle, which we know is the terminal side. And of course, think about the word terminate. Terminate means end. Same thing, terminal side of an angle is where it ends. All right, so then finally the angle degree is positive when there is a counterclockwise rotation. And that kind of follows the quadrant system. Since our quadrants, we count counterclockwise, same thing, it's a positive angle when there's a counterclockwise rotation, and there is a negative, angle degree is negative when there is a clockwise rotation. So let's just practice sketching a couple of basic angles in the coordinate plane. So example 1 wants us to sketch the angle represented by theta, where theta is just a variable, so theta equals 285 degrees. So we're always going to start right here on the positive x-axis. Since it's a positive angle, we're going to rotate counterclockwise. Or another way to think about it is we start going up initially. Doesn't really matter how far up, we're just going up enough to where we can actually see the angle. So sometimes what I like to do is I like to destructure the angle and write 90, 90, so that's 180. We go the third quadrant, that's 390, so that's 270. So that means this is 3 full quadrants plus an extra 15 degrees. We're just estimating here. So our angle would end right about there. And again, you don't have to write these little 90s here. It's just helpful sometimes to figure out what quadrant we end up in. And this last one, they want us to sketch negative 190. So again, we're going to start on the positive x-axis. But this time, since it's a negative angle, we're going to rotate clockwise. Or, think about it, we start heading down initially. And again, that's negative 90. That's negative 180. So that means we just need to go an extra negative 10 degrees, which would be somewhere right here in quadrant number 2. Again, we're just doing a sketch, a rough sketch. It doesn't have to be exact.